Over the last 2 weeks, I decided to get my life back, and I used this framework to keep me accountable. Hey, I'm Doby Lanete. I'm 23, and 2 years ago, when I was a junior in college battling loneliness and lack of purpose, a friend of mine came to me and told me this quote, and it stuck. He said, "Don't waste your time chasing butterflies. Instead, build a garden and the butterflies will come." And I think the quote is not exactly that, but that's what I remember my friend telling me, so I think it's slightly different. From then on, I realized that I wanted something more in life. I kind of found my purpose, and I found myself in the best mental state. I started waking up at 5 a.m., walking, gymming every morning before work and school. I journaled, I read, I did kendo twice a week, and I hung out with friends with my genuine interest at heart. And the best part, it felt like I had autonomy over every single minute of every single day. For the last 2 years, I completely forgot about that. I lost my purpose, my spark, and honestly, there was like this fire within me that I just didn't have anymore. And don't get me wrong, I don't regret a single thing. Every single moment I cherish, and it's gonna make me a better person. But with a year passing since graduating college, this might be the first time in my life where I found genuine passion, genuine purpose with God and my relationships and with my business. This made me think back to that garden analogy, and this helped me come up with how to build life's garden. So, ever since getting my fire back, I put a lot of thought into creating this new analogy that I'm really excited for. And this analogy is the same thing that the quote was trying to share, but just more in depth. And I call this how to build life's garden. And I found that there are two parts to your garden, there's core and decor. The core part of the garden are the actual pieces that dictate your life. And I split that up into five main categories. So, the five categories for the core are money stability, mental stability, health, relationships, and faith. And each one of these pillars of your garden kind of relate to how you can visualize the garden itself. So, money stability would be the infrastructure. So, that would be the roads, the fountains, the benches. And the more you focus on that money stability, it's kind of that pillar that actually shows the value and worth of the infrastructure of your garden. Mental stability is the gates and the fencing. So, this would be the entrance and the fences that protect the flowers. And with good enough mental stability, you kind of are able to pick and choose who's allowed into your garden, as well as if there are people in your garden, they can't just walk and trample all over your flowers, ruining your hard work. And I think on the flip side of things, having a poor mental stability kind of just allows anyone to walk in and out of your garden, and you don't have anything in place that they would ruin your mood, ruin your lifestyle, honestly, just ruin your life. Third is health. Health would be the flowers. So nothing you do in your garden matters if all the flowers are wilted. Focusing on your health ensures that your flowers are beautiful and alive. Fourth is relationships, and that links to the people in the garden. So you might have the most beautiful garden, but if there's no one there to share or be there with it, if there's no one around, then ultimately the garden loses its value. And lastly, fifth is faith. Faith would be the sun. So you can either choose to have a garden in light or in darkness, but everything you do for your garden only matters if others around can see it. The infrastructure would look shinier and cleaner. The entrance is more conducive for the people and butterflies you actually want to attract. It makes the flowers bloom even more, and it makes the people visiting your garden feel safe and warm. So those are kind of the five pillars that I'm going to really start focusing my life around. And just reflecting it on my own life, I can really think that financial stability would be the direction that I'm taking with my business. Mental stability, I started journaling and reading and waking up at 6 a.m. every day. Health, gymming every single day, playing pickleball, going on walks. Relationships, going out, meeting new people, hanging out with my team and my friends, as well as building a better connection with my family. And lastly, faith, getting more involved with the church, spending more time with the word. And I think all of these five different core principles is really forwarding a better future moving forward for myself. But moving to the other side of things, there is the decor of the gardens. And honestly, decor is the simple things that you think would improve the garden, but actually it's superficial. It doesn't actually improve your life or attract butterflies. It took me a while to understand decor because it's so tricky, because it seems like it would be core. So a good example is the decor of money. You might be thinking you're walking towards financial stability, but in reality, you might be focusing on the money decor of things. This would be trying to make more money in terms of greed, or like buying fancy cars and clothes to show off to others. in relating to the garden analogy, this would kind of be like, instead of building a better road that actually attracts people and it builds up the infrastructure, you spent all your time trying to put a sign in the middle of your garden with flashy lights trying to tell people to come over when your road is just completely dilapidated. There are a lot of different decors, and there's way more decors than there are core. But each of these would always relate with a core element that might be misinterpreted. So, like I said, money is wrongly interpreted financial stability. Validation is wrongly interpreted mental stability. Looks would be wrongly interpreted health. Thrill is wrongly interpreted relationships. And sin is the opposite of faith, leading to a dark garden. So those are just a few. Obviously, there's so much more decor in this world. But those are like the main ones that instantly contrast the core elements of like how you actually improve your life and build your garden. So the reason why I'm bringing up all of this and why I wanted to build a video or like record a video about this and kind of share is just to prompt taking a moment to reflect on your own life. Like, what are the core pillars of the garden that you're actually nurturing? Are you working hard on your health, your character, your finances? And then what parts are just decor? What are the things that just look good from the outside, but don't actually sustain you or add to your purpose? Because when the garden is strong, everything else follows. But when it's neglected, no amount of decoration will ever make it feel full. So moving forward, this is kind of where I want to direct my life and how I'm going to formulate growth of my business, my friends, my relationship, my mental health. And I hope that this is something valuable that you can use as well. So I guess this is the first video underneath the personal playlist. So if you made it to the end, I want to thank you so much. I look forward to posting more content across 3 of the pillars shown here in the garden. One is financial stability, which will be content about my business. One will be mental stability, which is more focused around my personal health and personal lifestyle, working with my team, etc., etc. And third one will be health, looking out for diet, workout, going on a calisthenics journey. This is kind of just that intro video that kind of explains why all of this content's being made in the first place. So thank you so much. Until next time, I'll see you around.